Comparisons. One of the patterns in the inventory above is se plus adjective. It's used to express as adjective as. In this vein, here are some topics that relate to comparisons. Equivalency. Equivalency is expressed as sama dengan. Here are 4 ways to say as adjective as. Adjective plus seperti. Example 2, otaku. Losong kosong seperti otakmu. My brain is as empty as yours. Se plus adjective. 3a. Otaku sekosong otakmu. My brain is as empty as yours. In this pattern, the adjective reads directly onto the thing that's being compared to, no preposition. As a result, this pattern has 2 grammatical wrinkles. The adjective cannot be more than 1 word. Example 3b, otaku losong kosong otaku is awkward. It could be turned into otaku losong kosong seperti otaku or otaku sama losong kosongnya dengan otaku. My brain is as empty as yours. The 2 things that are being compared cannot be used together as joint subjects. Example 3c, otaku dan otakmu sekosong. You should say otaku dan otakmu sama kosongnya or otaku dan otakmu sama-sama kosong. My brain and your brain are equally empty. Sama plus adjective plus nya plus dengan. In this pattern, the 2 things that are being compared can be used together as joint subjects. So, for example, otaku dan otakmu sekosong is awkward, so you can say instead, otaku dan otakmu sama kosongnya. Or the thing that's being compared to can be combined with dengan and added at the end. Example 4a, otaku sama losong kosongnya dengan otaku. My brain is as empty as yours. This pattern also has 2 grammatical wrinkles. The subject cannot be first or second person because nya implies a third person subject. Example 4b, saya sama bingunnya dengan kamu. Sounds odd because nya doesn't correspond to saya. Instead, you'd say saya bingung seperti kamu or saya sebingun kamu. I'm as confused as you. The pattern cannot be negated with tidak or modified with hampir, almost, because adjective plus nya is a nominalized form, or C. Komodo ku tidak sama jinaknya dengan komodo mu is awkward. You would say komodo ku tidak jinak seperti komodo mu or komodo ku tidak sejinak komodo mu. My Komodo dragon is not as tamed as yours. Sama-sama plus adjective can only be used with joint subjects. Example 3c, otaku dan otakmu sekosong is awkward. So you can say otaku dan otakmu sama-sama kosong. My brain and your brain are equally empty. As in the examples below, the thing that is being compared to can be a detailed noun phrase. Alternatively, it also can be ini itu or yang ini yang itu. Example 5a, komodo ini sama jinaknya dengan itu, or komodo ini sama jinaknya dengan yang itu. This Komodo dragon is as domesticated as that one. There's one exception. Sama plus adjective plus nya plus dengan pattern cannot be used with nominalized yang clauses. Example 5b, you can't say komodo ini sama jinaknya dengan yang ditangkap di alam liar itu. You would say, for example, komodo itu jinak seperti yang ditangkap di alam liar itu. This Komodo dragon is as domesticated as the one that was caught in the wild. I apologize because I don't have the slightest clue why this should be the case. More or less. Here are the basic ways to say more than or less than. For example, more than, lebih plus adjective plus daripada. Less than, kurang plus adjective plus daripada. Here is some supplemental information about the table above. Informal dari ketimbang can replace daripada in these patterns. Lebih kurang kala can be preceded by modifiers such as jauh, sedikit number. Example 1, Komodo berukuran 3 kali lebih besar daripada biawak. Komodo dragons are 3 times bigger than biawaks. The patterns are for adjectives. For nouns, use banyak. Example 2, Komodo punya lebih banyak gigi dari ayam. Komodo dragons have more teeth than chickens. Better. Better is expressed as lebih baik. Here are 2 patterns for expressing a preference, as in better X than Y. Lebih baik daripada. Example 1a, lebih baik saya pergi ke Pulau Komodo daripada tidak pergi. I would prefer to go to Komodo Island instead of not going. Lebih baik can be replaced with sebaiknya, or the more informal mending, mendingan. Mending, mendingan are run-of-the-mill adverbs and go between the subject and the verb. Example 1b, saya mending pergi ke Pulau Komodo daripada tidak pergi. By contrast, lebih baik, sebaiknya are sentence adverbs and can optionally go at the beginning of the sentence. Alih-alih, lebih baik. Alih-alih can be replaced with daripada. I mean instead in this context. Example 2, alih-alih saya pergi ke Pulau Bosan, lebih baik pergi ke Pulau Komodo. Instead of going to Boring Island, I would prefer to go to Komodo Island. More and more. Makin and informal semakin, makin express more and more. Example 1a, saya makin ingin tahu tentang Komodo. Or saya makin lama makin ingin tahu tentang Komodo. I'm getting more and more curious about Komodo dragons. Bertambah, tambah, and kian are formal equivalents of makin. These terms are adverbs and therefore go before adjectives and verbs. For nouns and other elements, they often combine with banyak. Example 1b, makin banyak makin ramai. The more the merrier. Duplication with lama, as in makin lama makin, the longer the more, can be used for emphasis. Example 1a, you could say saya makin lama makin ingin tahu tentang Komodo. I'm getting more and more curious about Komodo dragons. Similarly, duplication can be used for parallel clauses. If there is a single subject, then it goes in front of either the first makin or the second makin. Example 2a, saya makin belajar bahasa Indonesia, makin ingin tahu tentang Komodo. The more I study Indonesian, the more curious I get about Komodo dragons. You can also say, makin belajar bahasa Indonesia, saya makin ingin tahu tentang Komodo. If there are 2 subjects, then makin often moves to the front of the subjects. Example 2b, makin Komodo makan wisatawan, makin saya ingin tahu tentang mereka. The more that Komodo dragons eat tourists, the more curious I get about them. Most. Here are 2 patterns for expressing superlatives, paling plus adjective or tur plus adjective. Example 1, Komodo adalah binatang melata yang terbuas. Komodo dragons are the fiercest reptiles, can also be expressed as Komodo adalah binatang melata paling buas. The 2 patterns are generally interchangeable. Curiously, adjective phrases generally must use yang when linked to nouns. Example 2a, Komodo lebih buas sounds awkward and is reworked as Komodo yang lebih buas, the fiercer Komodo dragon. Superlative phrases, too much phrases, cannot take yang. Komodo yang paling buas sounds wrong, so you use Komodo paling buas, Komodo terbuas. Scope is expressed using dari, di. Example 3, ini Komodo terbuas di Pulau Komodo. This is the fiercest Komodo dragon on Komodo Island. Ranking is expressed using ordinal ke or nomor. Example 4a, ini Komodo terbuas kedua. Or ini Komodo terbuas nomor 2. This is the second most fierce Komodo dragon. If ordinal ke is used, then it can alternatively go before the superlative and optionally use yang. Example 4b. Ini komodo terbuas kedua can also be expressed as ini komodo kedua yang terbuas. This is the second most fierce Komodo dragon. Too much. Here are two patterns for expressing too. Adjective. Example 1. Komodo terlalu gila. The too crazy Komodo dragon, or Komodo kegilaan, as in example 1, is made up from the patterns terlalu plus adjective. Terlalu is sometimes replaced by the more formal terlampau. The second pattern in example 1 is ke plus adjective plus an. Combining the two patterns gives the useful adjective keterlaluan, which means outrageous. Terlalu plus adjective is generally applicable. By contrast, ke plus adjective plus an is restricted to only certain adjectives in order to avoid overlap with other uses of the ke-an pattern, such as making abstract nouns and expressing slightly. As is also the case for superlative phrases, terlalu adjective phrases are an exception to the general rule that adjective phrases must use yang when linked to nouns. So it's awkward when you say Komodo yang terlalu gila. It's a phrase, two words, terlalu gila. Better to say Komodo terlalu gila, the too crazy Komodo dragon. Finally, a small number of emotive adjectives such as senang, happy, gembira, happy, bangga, proud, takut, afraid, can read onto complements with untuk optionally added between the adjective and complement. Example 3a, saya senang untuk diberi hadiah seekor komodo. I'm happy to be given a Komodo dragon as a gift. However, many other adjectives can also do this when modified with terlalu or cukup. In this case, untuk becomes mandatory, presumably for clarity. Example 3b, Komodo ini terlalu mahal untuk dibeli. This Komodo dragon is too expensive to buy. So much that. Here are two patterns for expressing so adjective that. Begitu adjective sehingga. Example 1, Komodo itu begitu ganas sehingga saya tidak berani menyentuhnya. The Komodo dragon was so fierce that I dared not touch it. Begitu can be replaced with demikian or sedemikian. Sehingga can be replaced with sampai. Saking adjective nya sehingga. Example 1, Komodo itu saking ganasnya sehingga saya tidak berani menyentuhnya. The Komodo dragon was so fierce that I dared not touch it. Again, sehingga can be replaced with its synonym sampai, but this pattern's rare. These patterns are basically specialized ways to say because. In fact, when sehingga is omitted, the saking adjective nya sehingga pattern means because it is to adjective. Example 2, saking ganasnya saya tidak berani menyentuh Komodo itu. Because of its extreme fierceness, I did not dare touch the Komodo dragon. Relatedly, the pattern betapa adjective nya means how adjective. Example 3a, betapa ganasnya Komodo itu. How fierce that Komodo dragon is. Betapa, how, can be replaced with alangkah, bukan main, bukan buatan, or an interjection such as wah. Bukan main has two quirks. It can alternatively go at the end of the sentence, and it has a standalone meaning of extraordinary. Example 3b, bukan main ganasnya Komodo itu, or ganasnya Komodo itu bukan main. How fierce that Komodo dragon is. Example 3c, Komodo itu berlari sangat cepat. Bukan main. That Komodo dragon runs so fast. How extraordinary. These begitu, saking, betapa patterns also work perfectly okay with adverbs instead of adjectives, just as long as dengan secara are removed first. For example, for Komodo itu berlari dengan cepat. That Komodo dragon runs fast can be turned into Komodo itu berlari begitu cepat sehingga saya tidak berani menyentuhnya. That Komodo dragon runs so fast that I dared not touch it. Take-home lessons. Most adjectives are bases. However, there are various miscellaneous ways to make adjectives, such as the adjective-like meanings of stative verbs, like example 1a, berlidah cabang, fork-tongued. Mengkan verbs derived from emotive adjectives, 1b, menjijikan, to make someone disgusted, disgusting. Nouns derived from adjectives for personal characteristics. Example 1c, malu means a shy person or shy. Dengan, secara are the main ways to make adverbs. Example 2, dengan sporadis or secara sporadis, sporadically. Dengan can only combine with adjectives. By contrast, secara can combine with many word types. The general pattern for frequency is number, kali, time period. Sekali can go before or after the time period. Example 3, sekali, seminggu, or seminggu sekali, once a week. The general patterns for duration are sejak selama plus ber plus duplicated time period plus lamanya. Example 4a, selama berhari-hari lamanya, for days. Or just leave out selama and lamanya to give berhari-hari. Se plus duplicated time period plus an. Example 4b, sehari-harian, all day long. Sepanjang plus time period. Example 4c, sepanjang hari, all day long. The prefix se is a contraction of satu, and it has a gazillion uses. The general patterns for equivalency are adjective plus seperti, se plus adjective, sama adjective, nya dengan. Example 5, dia kejam seperti komodo. He is as mean as a Komodo dragon. Can alternatively be expressed as dia sekejam komodo or dia sama kejamnya dengan komodo. Comparisons. More than is expressed by lebih daripada. Example 6a, dia lebih kejam daripada komodo. He's meaner than a Komodo dragon. Not more than is expressed by tidak lebih daripada. 6b, dia tidak lebih kejam daripada komodo. He's not meaner than a Komodo dragon. Less than expressed by kurang daripada. 6c, dia kurang kejam daripada komodo. He is less mean than a Komodo dragon. The more is expressed as makin makin. Makin banyak is used for nouns. Makin banyak, makin ramai. The more the merrier. Or makin banyak orang, makin ramai. The more people, the merrier. The general patterns for superlatives are paling plus adjective or tur plus adjective. Komodo paling buas, the fiercest Komodo dragon, or Komodo tur buas, in example 8. The general patterns for excessiveness are tur lalu plus adjective or ke plus adjective plus an. Example 9, Komodo tur lalu gila or Komodo kegilaan, the too crazy Komodo dragon. The general pattern for so adjective that is begitu plus adjective plus sehingga. Example 10, Komodo itu begitu ganas sehingga saya tidak berani menyentuhnya. The Komodo dragon was so fierce that I dared not touch it. Here's our joke. Grammar. This series of video presentations includes original pornographic material that illustrates key concepts in Indonesian grammar. The following scene includes dialogue that is composed of model sentences based on this presentation.